Hi, today I was asked how to play a D7 chord on a DG melodeon, so I'm going to show you 3 ways of doing that. We're going to use this 4th button start instrument. This is a Castanari Lily, and we're going to do our first 2 examples all on the left hand side, all on the bass side. So the easiest one I think is this first one here. We're going to play a D major chord, which is button 1 outside row on the push. And we're going to introduce a C note with that. Now there's a C bass down here on the opposing corner. I use finger 4, so that's essentially a D chord with a C bass, but it's a perfectly fine D7 chord. So another look at that. So D major chord, C note, get my other fingers out of the way so you can see that, push in. Nothing wrong with that at all, that's a perfectly fine D7. Going to stay on the left hand side for my next example. I'm going to play the 3rd button down on the outside row, a 3rd finger, and pull out. That's another D major chord. And I'm going to use that same button that I just used on the inside row, but this time I'm going to be pulling, so I'm using fingers 3 and 4. You can use any fingers you like. I happen to be using 3 and 4. Pull out, and again it's a D major chord with a C bass. But you can hear it's the same result, isn't it? It's still a D7 chord. So both those examples on the bass side, so pushing like this and pulling like this. If you want to combine the 2 hands, you could do a D major chord on the pull, the second one that I showed you, button 3 outside row, and at the same time on this 4th button start instrument I play button 5. And that's a D major chord on the left hand side, a C note on the right hand side, and that's a D7 chord. You can play a D7 run on the right hand side, but you can't assemble a chord because you can't get D's on the push and C's on the push at the same time, because C's only available on the pull and D's only available on the push. But you could do this run, which would be a D7 run. So I'm playing a D major chord on the right hand side, I'm playing a D, an F sharp and an A, which on this instrument is buttons 4, 5 and 6. You've got a 3rd button start instrument, that would be buttons 3, 4, 5. And then I go over to the G row and play button 5 or button 4, that's my C note. So that would be an arpeggio, if you like, a D7 chord broken down into its component parts. So probably not very useful if you want a chord of D7, but that shows you what you need. You basically need D, F sharp and A, which is the D major, with a C. So there are a few ways of getting a D7 chord on the DG melodeon. Hope you find that useful.